Hi children, in the previous video, we learnt about the effect of World War I on the Indian economy. We also learnt the different Satyagraha movements started in India. We understood the cause and effect of Khilafat movement in India.
Standard 10 Social Science Nationalism in India Part 2. In this module, we shall be learning the following topics: differing strands within the movement towards civil disobedience, differing strands within the movement, non-cooperation movement, in towns and cities. Educated middle class led the movement in towns and cities. Educational institutions, law courts, and the council elections were boycotted. Foreign clothes and other goods were burnt in bonfires. People began to use khadi clothes. Government servants resigned their jobs. Liquor shops were picketed. Movement in the countryside. Peasants' movement. In Awadh, a peasants' movement was organized by Baba Ramachandra. It was against landlords and talukadars. Reduction of rent and the abolition of begar were their main demands. They also formed the Awadh Kisan Sabha. Tribal movement. In the Gudem hills of Andhra Pradesh, tribals started a movement under the leadership of Alluri Sita Ramaraju. Tribals wanted to get back their traditional rights over forest. The methods followed by tribals and peasants were against the Gandhian method of non-violence. They followed violent methods of struggle. Movement in the plantations. Workers in the plantations of Assam demanded the right to move freely in and out of the estates. They opposed the Inland Immigration Act of 1859, which took away the right to free movement. They were not permitted to leave the tea gardens without permission. When they heard about the non-cooperation movement, they moved to their villages. They thought that the Gandhi Raj was coming and everyone would be given land in their villages. However, they were caught and brought back. Non-cooperation movement slowed down in towns and cities because khadi clothes were very costly. The poor were not able to buy them. Indians boycotted British institutions like law courts and educational institutions, but alternative institutions did not come up, so people had to stop the boycott. The visions of these movements were also not defined by the Congress. They interpreted the term Swaraj in their own ways, imagining it to be a time when all suffering and all troubles would be over. Withdrawal of the non-cooperation movement. Gandhiji withdrew the non-cooperation movement because the movement became violent in some places. In February 1922, in Chauri Chaura, Uttar Pradesh, people turned violent and set fire to a police station. 22 policemen were killed in this incident. Gandhiji was strictly against violence. The movement slowed down in the urban areas. He thought it was necessary to train the people in non-violent Satyagraha. Simon Commission. It was a statutory commission set up by the British under Sir John Simon. It was asked to study the constitutional system in India and suggest changes. Indians opposed the Simon Commission because All the members of the commission were Englishmen. There was no Indian in it. It did not provide any hope of Swaraj to Indians. When the Simon Commission arrived in India in 1928, it was greeted with the slogan, "Go back, Simon." Lahore Congress of 1929. The Congress session was held at Lahore in 1929 under the presidentship of Jawaharlal Nehru. Following decisions were taken. The Congress declared Purna Swaraj or complete freedom as its aim. It was decided to celebrate 26 January 1930 every year as Independence Day, but attracted less attention. It was decided to start the civil disobedience movement to win Purna Swaraj. On 31st January 1930, Gandhiji sent a letter to Viceroy Irwin stating 11 demands. One of them was the salt law. The government imposed heavy tax on it. Moreover, the production of salt was a monopoly of the government, so the price of salt was very high. Therefore, Gandhiji opposed the salt law. Gandhiji decided to inaugurate the civil disobedience movement by breaking the salt law. Gandhiji and 78 of his followers started a march on foot from Sabarmati Ashram to Dandi. This is also called as Dandi March. On 6 April 1929, they reached Dandi. Differences between non-cooperation movement and civil disobedience movement. Under non-cooperation movement, people refused to cooperate. Muslims also participated in large numbers. There were no tax campaigns. While in disobedience movement, people broke the laws. There were less Muslims participations. People refused to pay taxes. Also, large-scale participation of women. Social groups which participated in civil disobedience movement. Rich peasants, poor peasants, business class, industrial workers. Rich peasants, because of Great Depression and fall in the prices, demanded reduction in land revenues. Swaraj for them meant reduction of taxes. For poor peasants, Great Depression affected them badly. They also wanted a reduction in the rent. Swaraj for them meant reduction in the rent. For business class, they demanded protection against the import of foreign goods. They wanted rupee sterling exchange rate to discourage imports. They formed Indian Industrial and Commercial Congress in 1920. They also formed the Federation of the Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industries. They gave financial help to the movement and refused to sell foreign goods. Industrial workers, they were poorly paid. Conditions of work were miserable. Swaraj for them meant better wages and better working conditions. Railway workers, dockyards, and wore Gandhi caps and took part in the rallies. Contributions to the civil disobedience movement. Civil disobedience movement was the first struggle to win Purna Swaraj or complete independence. It was based on non-violent Satyagraha. Women participated in large numbers in this movement. It was a real mass movement. It was an open challenge to the British rule, and people openly disobeyed laws. Thank you so much. Please visit the next video.